Jax's revenge domain. Standing in that glass conference room watching Brandon Walsh slide a severance envelope across the table like it was some kind of prize. I had exactly 8 minutes to teach him the most expensive lesson of his corporate career. "Congratulations, Dutch," he said, with that Wharton MBA smirk. "Your position's being eliminated. Effective immediately. I'm Wade Bennett, by the way. Dutch to everyone who matters. 47 years old. Spent 6 years in the Marines building networks under enemy fire, then 18 years building something a lot more valuable for Apex Systems." But let me back up because this story starts way before this conference room. I looked at that envelope, then at Brandon, then at the 15 faces around the table. Crystal's oncology appointment was tomorrow morning. Her latest scans showed the treatment was working, but those experimental drugs were running us 95 kilo a year out of pocket. Dustin's engineering school deposit was due next week, minus $8,500 to secure his spot at State. Holly's pre-med tuition was already stretching us thin. The numbers ran through my head like packet loss calculations. 6 years in the Corps teaches you that when incoming fire starts, your brain doesn't panic. It runs diagnostics, available bandwidth, system redundancies, exit protocols, restructuring, Brandon added, adjusting his tie. "You understand how it is in today's market." Yeah, I understood exactly how it was. When I joined Apex 18 years ago, we were bleeding money in a cramped office above a pizza joint. Brandon had big ideas, but no infrastructure. Just whiteboards covered in network diagrams that couldn't route a single data packet from point A to point B. That's where I came in. Fresh out of the service, looking to use my network engineering background in civilian life. The Marines had taught me to build systems that work under pressure. Real pressure, not the fake pressure of quarterly earnings calls. CoreNet was my baby from day one. I architected the entire infrastructure, debugged every protocol that would have killed any other startup. For years, Brandon praised me in investor meetings. D2 Dutch is the backbone of our network operations, he'd say. Former Marine, knows how to get things done. Couldn't run this company without him. Investors love that story. The disciplined veteran building cutting-edge network infrastructure. It played well in presentations, helped us land our first major contracts. But about 15 months ago, something shifted. Brandon started getting cold in meetings. My access to financial reports quietly disappeared. Conversations stopped when I walked into rooms. The classic "we don't need the expensive guy anymore" playbook. I'd seen it before during my civilian career. Companies get comfortable, start thinking the systems run themselves. They forget that someone built those systems. Someone maintains them. Someone understands every line of code, every routing protocol, every failsafe that keeps the whole thing from collapsing. The writing was on the wall when I saw the paperwork last week. A draft contract for Travis Henderson, 24 years old, fresh out of college. His proposed salary was $58K. Mine was $155K. The job description was an exact copy of my responsibilities, just with a few buzzwords changed. That's when I realized Brandon wasn't just replacing me. He was trying to erase me. My name was getting scrubbed from patents, system documentation, network protocols. 18 years of building this company from nothing, and they wanted to pretend I'd never existed. But here's what Brandon didn't understand about Marine training. You always prepare for worst-case scenarios, always have redundancies, always have an exit strategy. See, CoreNet wasn't just network infrastructure. It was a living, breathing system that I'd architected to be both resilient and highly sensitive to unauthorized control. 15 months ago, when I started seeing the warning signs, I embedded something. Not malicious, that's not how we operated in the service, but protective. A fail-safe protocol. If certain credentials got revoked, mine specifically, the system would assume hostile takeover and initiate staged lockdown procedures. Not destruction, not data loss. Just systematic degradation until proper authorization could be reestablished. The beauty of it was the documentation trail. Every security review, every quarterly briefing, every technical presentation, I'd mentioned the failsafe protocols. Brandon had signed off on them personally. His signature was on dozens of documents approving the security architecture. I stood up slow, unclipped my badge, and set it down on that polished table. Around me, I could hear the subtle shift in breathing patterns, network congestion building. "Brandon," I said, letting the silence hang for a beat, "I suggest you check your system monitoring dashboard. You're going to want to see the degradation sequence that just started." The room went dead quiet. "Excuse me?" Brandon blinked. I smiled. "Not the friendly kind. The kind you give when you know exactly how the next 8 minutes are going to play out. Check your network status. Timer's running. Someone opened their laptop. Someone else bolted for the door. Shane Coleman, our operations director and former Marine logistics officer, went wide-eyed. He knew that look. He'd seen it before in theater, when things were about to get very interesting. That's when the panic started. Brandon's fake confidence melted like overheated processors. He jumped up so fast his chair rolled backward. "What did you do?" I didn't answer. Just straightened my jacket, picked up the little cardboard box they'd thoughtfully provided for my personal effects, and headed for the door. Inside the box were a few family photos, my Marine coffee mug, and a small American flag Dustin had given me when he decided to follow his old man into engineering. As I reached the doorway, I glanced back. Lance Foster, our lead engineer and Army Signal Corps veteran, was typing like his life depended on it. 2 technicians were sprinting toward the server room. Brandon was jabbing at his phone, probably calling someone who might know how to fix this mess. 8 minutes now, I said quietly, then stepped into the hallway. The elevator arrived just as my phone started buzzing. Right on schedule, Cornet began its staged degradation. Not just internal systems, the entire production network started throttling. Client operations slowing. Data routing becoming unreliable. System integrity warnings multiplying like wildfire. I could picture Brandon staring at his screen as latency spikes cascaded through the network. Engineers scrambling to identify bottlenecks only to realize the problem wasn't hardware failure, it was architectural rebellion. The parking garage was quiet. My F-150 sat in the same spot I'd parked it for the last 18 years, Space 47, reserved for the senior architect who'd just become unemployed. I threw the cardboard box in the passenger seat and sat there for a moment, engine running, letting the reality sink in. Crystal's face flashed in my mind. Those insurance forms on our kitchen table, the ones showing our out-of-network costs for her experimental treatment. Without my job, without the executive health plan, those numbers would become impossible. The kids didn't know how tight things had gotten. We'd kept the financial stress between us, the way married couples do when they're trying to protect their children from adult problems. My phone buzzed again. Text message from an unknown number, system critical, need immediate assistance. Then another, all client operations down. Then a third, emergency board meeting called. I drove home the long way, past the coffee place on Maple Street, where Crystal gets her morning latte before her shifts at the clinic. The barista, Jessica, was wiping down tables through the window. Normal people living normal lives. No idea that a few miles away, a $175 million company was learning the difference between owning infrastructure and understanding it. The house was quiet when I walked in. Crystal was at her book club, Thursday nights, with the other military wives discussing whatever novel they'd picked this month. Dustin was upstairs studying for his SATs, music leaking under his door. Holly was at cheerleading practice until 6 normal family life. The kind I'd been working 18 years to protect. I set my keys on the kitchen counter next to Crystal's pill organizer. 7 days worth of medications lined up in perfect rows, the expensive ones that kept her white cell count stable, the ones that cost more per month than most people's rent. By the time I loosened my tie, my phone was going crazy. 18 missed calls from Brandon, 12 from Shane, 8 from Lance. Text messages flooding in from numbers I didn't recognize. System failing, client screaming, stock price dropping, need you back now. I powered down the phone, ordered Chinese food from that place Dustin likes, and turned on the History Channel. Some documentary about Normandy logistics, the complexity of moving men and materials across an ocean, building temporary harbors on enemy beaches, real engineering under real pressure. Around 5:30, Dustin came downstairs. Kids built like his old man but got his mother's brains. Plans to study network engineering at State, assuming we could swing the tuition. Now, that assumption was looking shaky. "Dad, you're home early," he said, grabbing a Coke from the fridge. "Mom said you had that big presentation today." I looked at him, 17 years old, full of plans and dreams, trusting that his parents had everything figured out. "Yeah, had some interesting developments at work today." He gave me that look kids give when they're trying to figure out if their parents are having a midlife crisis. "Everything okay? You seem different." "Smart kid." "Everything's going to be fine, son. Actually might be better than fine soon. How's that scholarship application coming?" "Good. Got the essay done. Wrote about leadership and doing what's right, even when it's hard." You know, like that story you always tell about building the communication network in Fallujah while taking mortar fire. I smiled despite everything. Where'd you learn about that from, you, Dad? You said the team was panicking because the system kept going down, but you figured out someone was trying to interfere with the signal. So you built redundancies they couldn't touch. The kid understood more than I'd realized. Honor, duty, mission first, values that seem to be in short supply in corporate America these days. Sometimes I said, you have to protect what you've built, even if other people don't appreciate it at first. He nodded seriously, like how you always check our home network when it gets slow. Mom says you're obsessive, but I think you just care about things working right. At 6:15, there was a knock. Deliberate, professional. 3 measured taps that said military. I checked the peephole. Shane Coleman and Lance Foster both looking like they'd aged 5 years in 3 hours. I opened the door just wide enough to read their faces. Well, this is unexpected. Social call. Shane's expression was tight, controlled, classic Marine. Keep your emotions in check. Focus on the problem. Dutch, we need to talk. It's urgent. Seems sudden. Last I checked, my employment was terminated. As of 4:30 this afternoon, Lance stepped forward. Former Army Signal Corps, but he'd gone soft in corporate life. Look, there's been a serious misunderstanding. I laughed. Couldn't help it. A misunderstanding. Which part? The public humiliation? The severance envelope? Or Brandon trying to replace me with a college kid making a third of my salary? Shane winced. He knew. Of course he knew. Military guys talk to each other. We have informal networks that cross company lines. Can we come in, please? This affects everyone. I considered it. In the Marines, when someone comes to your position asking for help, you listen, even if they're not in your chain of command, even if they've disappointed you. Shoes off, I said finally. They shuffled in like junior officers reporting to a commanding officer. I gestured to the living room. Have a seat. Dustin peeked around the corner from the kitchen. I caught his eye and gave him a look that said, "Go upstairs, adult business." He nodded and disappeared. Smart kid knew when to make himself scarce. I sat across from them, hands clasped, waiting. In negotiations, first person to speak usually loses. Another thing the military teaches you, patience, is a weapon when used correctly. Lance cracked first. Look, the system, CoreNet, it's completely degraded. Everything. Production, development, client interfaces. We can't even send status updates to clients. Catastrophic network failure, I said, finishing for him. Full infrastructure degradation. Every client experiencing service issues, stock price probably in freefall. Media starting to circle like vultures. Board probably getting emergency phone calls. Am I tracking this correctly? Shane leaned forward. Dutch, I ran the numbers. We're looking at breach of service agreements with 85% of our clients. Legal is saying 20 lawsuits minimum by morning. The board's in emergency session. Sounds rough, I said. Lance rubbed his neck, nervous habit from his Army days. This could kill the company. Destroy everything we've built. Thousands of jobs. Everything we've built. I tilted my head. Interesting choice of words, Lance. Remind me who architected the core network infrastructure. He swallowed hard. You did. And who designed the routing protocols that handle 90% of our client traffic? You. And who spent the last 15 months getting cut out of strategic decisions while Brandon tried to replace me with someone who doesn't know the difference between a router and a switch? Shane jumped in. Look, Dutch, we know this was handled wrong. Brandon was impulsive, but this can be fixed. You can fix it. I stood up, walked to the window. Through the glass, I could see Margaret Thompson watering her garden next door. Retired teacher lost her husband last year. Still waves every morning when I leave for work. This neighborhood, this life, it took 18 years of 12-hour days and missed family dinners to build. Can I asked, turning back to them. You have to, Lance said, desperation creeping into his voice. The fail-safe protocol. I remember you mentioning it during architecture reviews. Something about unauthorized access triggering defensive measures. I smiled. You were paying attention after all. Yeah, it's a feature I built 15 months ago, standard security protocol. When my credentials got revoked, the system assumed hostile takeover and protected itself. Shane's military training kicked in. He was putting the pieces together. So you still have access? Of course I do. I built the back door the same year I put in the failsafe. Figured if someone ever tried to lock me out of my own system, I might need a way back in. I walked to my laptop, opened it, typed a few keys. The CoreNet dashboard loaded. All yellow and red alerts. Performance degradation warnings. System integrity compromised. Lance leaned forward, eyes wide. The whole network's throttled. Client data is intact, but performance is terrible. That's exactly what it's doing, I said, turning the screen toward them, protecting itself until proper authority can be reestablished. Shane met my eyes. And what constitutes proper authority? I closed the laptop? That depends. I walked back to the window. Through the reflection, I could see them both waiting. Two decent people caught in the middle of Brandon's corporate stupidity. Shane had served his country with honor before joining Apex. Lance had done his time in Signal Corps, understood what it meant to keep critical systems running. But they'd also sat in that conference room and watched Brandon humiliate me. Nobody spoke up. Nobody questioned the decision. Depends on what, Shane pressed. I turned back to face them, on whether this company is ready to acknowledge what it almost threw away, and whether it's willing to pay the price to get it back. Lance blinked. You're talking about terms. I'm talking about respect, I said. Something that seems to be in short supply around here lately. Shane pulled out his phone. Brandon needs to hear this. I shook my head. No, Brandon needs to come here. He wants his system back. He can ask for it properly on my turf, my terms. Dutch, Lance started. He will, I interrupted, because right about now, his phone's ringing off the hook with very angry investors asking very pointed questions about why their $175 million investment just went dark. Shane was already dialing. Through the phone, I could hear it ringing and ringing. When Brandon finally picked up, his voice was strained, desperate. Even from across the room, I could hear the panic. Shane, thank God. Is he there? Can he fix it? Shane looked at me. I nodded. He's here, she said. But Brandon, you need to come over now and bring your checkbook. 30 minutes later, the sound of screeching tires echoed from my driveway. Through the window, I watched Brandon's black BMW take the turn too fast, nearly clipping Margaret Thompson's mailbox. The man was unraveling. Shane and Lance had spent the last 25 minutes fielding calls. The scope of the disaster was becoming clear. Apex's biggest client, Global Tech Industries, was already threatening to pull their contract. The West Coast operations had gone completely offline. Someone from TechCrunch was asking questions about the outage. The knock came fast and angry. 3 sharp bangs that rattled the front door. I let it sit. Military discipline. Control the tempo. Control the engagement. Another round of knocking, more desperate this time. I opened the door just wide enough to see Brandon Walsh standing there looking like he'd been dragged through a server farm. His usually perfect hair was disheveled, tie loosened, shirt wrinkled. The confident CEO who'd smirked while firing me 4 hours ago now looked like a man watching his empire crumble in real time. Fix it, he said, trying to push past me. Fix it now. I didn't move, just stood there blocking the doorway. Evening Brandon, rough day at the office, his face went red. Don't play games with me, Dutch. Turn the system back on. You seem upset, I said, stepping aside slowly. Come on in. Let's talk about it. He stormed into my living room like he owned the place. Shane and Lance stood up from the couch, uncomfortable. They knew what was coming. Brandon spun toward me, eyes wild. This is sabotage. Criminal destruction of property. I'll have the FBI here within the hour. Careful, I said, voice calm and measured. You're about to make accusations you can't take back. In front of witnesses, he stopped, jaw clenched, breathing heavy. But behind all that bluster, I could see it. Real fear. The kind that comes when you realize you're in over your head. Brandon, I said, walking to my laptop, let me show you something. I opened the Cornet dashboard and turned it toward him. The disaster lit up his face like a Christmas tree. Client operations 72% degraded. Service level breaches 94 and climbing. Pending legal actions 15, emergency board calls 6. This look familiar? I asked, his fists clenched. You did this? You sabotaged our system. Shane stepped forward. Actually, Brandon, the logs show you revoked Dutch's credentials at 4032 this afternoon. The system degradation was an automatic response to unauthorized access attempts. Lance nodded, pulling up his own laptop. Here's the audit trail. When Dutch's admin privileges were terminated, the security protocol triggered a protective slowdown. It's all documented. Brandon's face drained of color. What security protocol? I smiled, the one I implemented 15 months ago and briefed you on in the quarterly security reviews. The ones you never attended because you were too busy playing golf with investors. He started, then stopped, because deep down, he knew I was right. I walked to my desk, pulled out a thick folder, paper records, old school. While we're being honest, Brandon, let's talk about what else the system's been tracking. I opened the folder and spread the documents across my coffee table. Access logs, file modification records, late-night login attempts. 15 months of unauthorized access to Cornet's core repository, I said. Attempts to copy proprietary protocols, downloads of sensitive architecture documents, all traced back to your personal login credentials. Shane leaned forward, scanning the documents. Brandon, this shows you trying to clone the entire network architecture to an external drive. It's not what it looks like, he said weakly. Really? I pulled out another document because this email to your buddy at Blackstone Capital Partners suggests otherwise. Quote, working on extracting key personnel dependencies from Cornet architecture. Timeline for transition still on track. Lance went pale. You were planning this for months. Brandon slumped into my armchair, looking defeated. The board was asking questions. Investors wanted to see cost savings. Your salary was. My salary was earned, I interrupted. Every dollar of it. While you were schmoozing investors, I was building the system that made this company worth $175 million. Just then, Holly walked through the front door, backpack slung over her shoulder. Dad, I'm home. Oh, sorry. Didn't know you had company. Just finishing up some business, sweetheart. How was practice? Good. Coach says I might make varsity next year. She looked around at the tense faces. Is everything okay? Everything's going to be fine, I said. Why don't you grab some dinner from the kitchen? Chinese food's still warm. She nodded and headed upstairs, but not before giving Brandon a curious look. Smart kid, could sense the tension in the room like her mother. That's my daughter, I said after she was gone. 19 years old, honor roll student, wants to study pre-med in college. Looks up to her dad because she thinks he's a man of integrity. I let that hang in the air for a moment. I'd like to keep it that way. I continued. Which means this gets resolved quietly, professionally, and fairly. What do you want? Brandon asked quietly. I walked back to the window. Outside, I could see Dustin's headlights pulling into the driveway, coming back from his SAT prep class. Kid who wanted to follow his father into engineering, assuming his father still had a career worth following. What I want, I said, turning back to face them, is acknowledgement, respect, and compensation for what you tried to steal. Brandon looked up. How much? 18% ownership of Cornet patents, $2.8 million in personal compensation for attempted IP theft, reinstatement as CTO with a permanent board seat, and a public statement acknowledging my role as the system's architect. His mouth fell open. That's insane. 18% of something is better than 100% of nothing. Shane said quietly, which is what we'll have if the system stays degraded much longer. Lance was doing math on his phone. Brandon, Global Tech alone represents $32 million in annual revenue. If they walk, and they will walk, I added. Their CTO called me directly 3 hours ago, offered me a job. Seems they'd rather have the guy who built the system than the company that fired him. Brandon's hands were shaking now. $2.8 million. We don't have that kind of cash on hand. You'll find it, I said. Liquidate some of your stock options. Take a loan against company assets. Get creative. You seemed pretty creative when you were trying to replace me with a college graduate making $58K. Dustin walked through the door, backpack over his shoulder. Hey, Dad. How'd the presentation go today? I looked at my son, 17 years old, full of dreams about following his father into engineering. Trusting that his parents had everything figured out. Actually went better than expected, son. Much better. He grinned. Cool. Oh, and Mom called. She's staying late at book club. Something about a really good discussion. That's fine. Why don't you get some homework done? We'll talk more later. After he headed upstairs, Brandon was quiet for a long moment. Then, if I agree to this, you restore the system immediately. Within the hour. Full functionality. All clients back online. No data loss. Clean slate. I shook my head and leaned forward. Clean slate, new partnership. But Brandon, if you ever try something like this again, if you ever attempt to undermine me or steal my work, the next degradation won't be reversible. He swallowed hard. How do I know you'll keep your word? Shane spoke up. Because unlike you, Dutch has honor, military honor. When he gives his word, it means something. Brandon looked around the room at Shane's disappointed face, at Lance's nervous expression, at the documents spread across my coffee table proving his attempted theft. "Fine," he said finally. "Draft the agreement." I smiled, already done. I pulled a contract from the folder. Standard partnership agreement. 18% ownership, 2.8 million compensation over 3 years, CTO reinstatement, board seat, public acknowledgement. All it needs is your signature. His hands trembled as he picked up the pen. For a moment I thought he might throw it across the room, but he didn't. He signed slowly, deliberately, like a man signing his own surrender. When he finished, he shoved the papers back at me. "It's done." I looked at the signature, then at him. "No, Brandon, now we're partners, and partners don't try to steal from each other." 6 months later, I was sitting on my back porch with a beer, watching the sunset over the neighborhood Crystal, and I had built our life in. The mortgage was paid off early. Crystal's cancer treatment was fully covered by our executive health plan, and her latest scan showed she was in complete remission. Dustin had gotten into state with a partial scholarship. His essay about integrity and standing up to corporate pressure had impressed the admissions committee. Holly was thriving in her pre-med courses, fully funded through our family education trust. Inside, I could hear Crystal laughing on the phone with her sister, telling her about the neighborhood barbecue we were planning for next weekend. Normal family sounds. The sounds of people who don't have to worry about medical bankruptcies or choosing between rent and cancer treatments. But mostly, I was proud that my kids had learned something important that day, that competence matters, that integrity isn't negotiable, and that sometimes the right thing to do is also the smart thing to do. They tried to erase me from the company I built. Instead, they taught me exactly how much I was worth. And that lesson, for both me and Brandon Walsh, was worth every penny of those $2.8 million sitting in our retirement account, and every share of that 18% ownership stake that would secure my family's future for generations to come. Sometimes the most expensive mistakes aren't the ones that cost you money. They're the ones that teach you what loyalty is really worth.